Now, Potato was the production company for the TV show The Chase, but
Is it?
yes,
Wow. So they're the ones who lead Boris Johnson.
let's not speak about him. We've already got weird fun talk to talk about today because this is the Immaterial Gamers podcast. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, there we go. Hi.
You're confusing me.
I, there's a lot going on.
There's not enough going on.
There's enough going on. It's Ryan, it's Steph. Say hi.
Who's saying hi?
I don't. We all say hi. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. But let's just kick straight into this. In the week where shit's gone down and the absolute blowout of Cyberpunk has hit full force. How's your
When's
week
it?
been?
But when's it going back to consoles?
Oh, are we just going straight in there then? Is this the podcast called We Need to Talk About Cyberpunk?
I don't see why not.
I
There
mean,
was one other I would have said should be here for it. I'm gonna kill Terra.
you're gonna kill Terry.
Yeah.
So even though it's Dariusz you would have wanted on.
Oh, I want Darius, but I'm gonna kill Terry for another reason.
Ah,
Because
okay.
I'm trying to clean up our Minecraft server thing. Every now and then I do a clean up, clean everything out, store all the stuff where it should be stored, because we just kind of run around doing stupid stuff. And he's took one of the stuff I need to help clean and left it in his stuff.
He's a thief.
He
He's a
he
thief.
is.
What you should do is you should sabotage him on your next Let's Play stream. Tell him you have trouble with sharing your Discord that evening so you can do your iconic secret plans.
My secret plans. Even when he's got my side, it's still secret plans. Because there's times I think he forgets that I can see what he's doing. So when he hits me and it's like, I'll turn around to look at him. And at that point, I look up at the live feed. And because it's that far apart, I see him hit me. And then you just see me run up to him and start going, yeah. Carving into it.
Like I say, the Immaterial Gamers Twitch channel is where all the IMI domestic dramas happen.
But we did discuss in the last episode we did live stream that there is going to be videos aimed straight at the YouTube, which will just be me doing certain builds.
Okay.
But as we have said, certain things will be done on the stream as well as these videos. So if any of the viewers wish to know fully what's going on, they would need to watch some of the VODs.
Yeah, if they
end up.
If they can bear to watch past the first 10 seconds of any given video, then
because depending on when I do it, because some of it I've already started, but I started it off camera completely just to get a shape of what we wanted. And from that, I need to get rid of it and then start doing it properly.
Yeah.
Some of it will probably start on the podcast, on the live stream, but some of it I hope to do my own little videos for, and it will be something like episode point, whatever episode we started on, it'll be like the in-between episode of that, basically. So it's like the episode 4.5. So it won't be its own episode, it'll be like in between the episode, because the next stream you'll come on and that would have all been done.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have a lot of, speaking of that Twitch stuff, we do have a lot of streams in the backlog that's just going to get uploaded. The idea is that they're just going to get scheduled to upload over the Christmas times because we got Christmas to do.
Christmas do, everybody do. Stick your bum in the air and say to Lou.
Sure.
Do it like Wukong on the TFT.
So, yeah. So before we go into our little feature episode, we need to talk about Cyberpunk. It's nice to see that I'm still getting spam from scamming little cunts. This time they've added a a logo. This is another one of those DPD scams. Pay to
Uh,
get your delivery sent out. Your parcel, Miss Anytoys.co.uk 15/15/22 12/21/2020. For a start, if you're gonna give this to an English customer as an English, English courier, maybe put the date in the right order.
oh, I had my mum and dad the other day to turn around. I sat downstairs watching TV, something I rarely ever do. And by watch TV is something I rarely ever do. And
So
the
yeah.
advert came on for Cyberpunk, and my mum and dad have watched the news and saw bits of it, so they know bits what's going on with it.
Hmm.
And I've gone, we got you that, but we had to take it back. I went, that's good. They went, why? And I went, because I already bought
Oh,
it. They thought, oh, well, we're going to wind you up with it. It's like, no, that backfired on you.
love this. We're gonna give you like this like really broken game and then take it back. Now right, being broken. I mean, we might as well just get straight into it then.
This is something I said to you during the week,
Mm,
where I've seen memes around it where it's like someone just put it's normally of a film or something like a Disney film, which I've seen of I can't remember what characters,
yeah.
where it's like, I can't do this anymore, it's broken. Send it back, it's broken. And another person goes, is this your first time here? And it's like underneath it just says PC user. And on
Yeah.
the other one it says console user.
And
And
the
it's
other
like
one.
it is literally the whole thing of PC users do not care.
Mm, I mean, the other one that I've seen is that meme of the two like Yanks arguing at something, and one just throws a table at him. But it was the classic of I want Cyberpunk, but it's not finished yet. But I want it now. Right here. Why have I got this? It's buggy and unfinished.
I wouldn't call it unfinished though.
Well, again, like we said, this sort of depends how you obtained it. Because, I mean,
I
uh,
think the copies for the discs were incomplete. Things sent to things like Steam, Epic,
mm,
GOG
well, this is
were
the
in a similar state, but console users are used to smooth, complete, everything's done.
something
While
that fits
PC,
on the architecture that it's designed for.
yeah, while PC users are used to the okay, I need to change this slightly to do this, which leads to a lot of bugs for PC. There's games I play and I still find bugs in it, like Warframe, and it's like I still they have constant bugs,
Mm,
but that's constantly updated. GTA constantly has bugs. I found bugs in GTA that were meant to be fixed months ago,
mm,
and
yeah.
it's like it's not. It's just something PC gamers have just got that used to. We just
Mm.
don't care about it anymore.
There's always going to be a hot fix or something going down the line that
Yeah,
that sort of does it. And before we go any further as well, I do want to sort of say that we're going to be looking at sort of Cyberpunk 2077, the game, as opposed to Cyberpunk 2077, the marketing and sort of the
you
GOG
seen
angle,
what I
because
put in?
there are people a lot better and more diverse than us who can explain all the shit that's happened off
Yeah,
the
true.
game's back.
Oh, a lot true. I do like the meme that I found though. I
Mm,
did put it in our general. When someone gets upset over a buggy game of over bugs in Cyberpunk 2000, well 2077, even though the game was released 57 years ago.
and is that a picture of Ross from Friends there?
Yes, I have to admit I
Get a
find
load
that
of this
really
guy.
funny. Get a load of this guy. He's
Mhm.
complaining about a game that's been out for 57 years. But
Yeah.
imagine all like say parents and that played it when they were younger,
Mm,
and now they're sat there going, "Why is my son complaining that it's buggy? Why is this?
yeah.
What? Why my son only learned about this game that came out when I was 5?"
I mean, who knows? Um, so I mean, we got to sort of start on the fact that, so yeah, because of the fact that we're not sort of talking about the outside influences and sort of GOG and the fuck ups that have happened there. We're looking at CD Projekt Red, the developer, and talking about the sort of the management style there, as opposed to CD Projekt, the overall company of which CD Projekt Red is a part of, and as is GOG.
Mm.
So, I mean, right. So, how many hours would you say you've put in to Cyberpunk now, Steph?
How many hours I've put in? I can tell you, strange enough. I have put 30 hours in according to this.
30 hours.
Yes.
Okay. So I'd say I'm a little bit less than you on that. So
I feel
say
like that's
probably about 10
slightly
hours,
wrong.
something like that.
I feel like that's somehow slightly wrong. It's probably take away a good 10 hours of it from game crashing or the Steam keeping it open in the background for some weird reason.
Mm. Yeah. I, so we've had some time around Night City. I mean, you've got a bit further in the story than I have. I mean, I've only just got to what is effectively
You
considered the end of Act One.
I was about to
Um,
say you've only just completed Act 1. I'm still in Act 2 because I've got to a point where it was like, okay, I just want to get upgrades, do this.
hmm, that's the thing. I think this
Something
one
I
of
wish I did in number 1 before the first like heist, should we call it?
yeah. So yeah, there's a quest called the Heist. We're not going to explain much more. I mean, a lot of it is probably on the sort of the teaser trailer that they used anyway, and we can actually go to that starting at the beginning when you know that there's an issue with a game when a company doesn't provide certain review code to reviewers. This has
Oh,
happened in the
okay,
movie
I didn't know
industry
that.
before. When a movie studio doesn't provide reviewers with screener copies of films,
Mm.
it's generally because they don't have any faith in said film. And that's why you get a lot of classic, bombs of Hollywood blockbusters because they don't want to show you the products, and they'll say, "Oh, it's to make sure that there's no spoilers or anything like that." It's a lie. It's a lie. So that's where that comes, and this is the sort of the warning flags of the feature completeness of CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk 2077. I don't know why I said it like that, but that's why the console version was so panned, you know, and like a lot of more experienced, you know, games people, particularly journalists whose it's their job to talk about this, a lot of them would sort of brush that under the carpet anyway, because the last thing you want to do is get blacklisted by a developer.
Wait, I've just realised something.
Mm,
The game came out 57 years ago, right?
wait, what?
The board game is that
It,
it's
no, it came out in
classified.
1988.
Okay.
So the system where it was set in 2020 or 2013, I think Cyberpunk was 2013 and was released in 1988. It was then the RPG was then upgraded to Cyberpunk 2020, Cyberpunk Red, and then Cyberpunk 2077 is
Okay.
the video game continuation of the RPG.
Okay. I was just yeah, it's fine.
Okay, all
I
right.
was thinking of something, but it don't make sense now in my head. You know, when you some reason have everything just click together in your head, and then the next thing it's like, wait, hold on a minute, how's that clicking?
Yeah,
And then it all just falls apart in your head. It's like, I wish I
yeah.
never opened my mouth.
I mean, it also explains why certain storyline points have already happened in Act 1 of the game, particularly with the character of Johnny Silverhand, which isn't a spoiler. He was part of the hype material, played by
Mm.
Keanu Reeves. Duh. Um, and it also links into the Cyberpunk 2020
You see,
RPG because that's
I
where that
kept my
happened.
eye on this. I didn't know what his name was going to be when I got the game. Well,
Uh,
before the game came out,
yeah,
I
because
didn't know bits because I was literally got to the point of I know the game was coming out. I know for a fact I was going to get it at some point. Just left out of that.
yeah. I mean, everyone else knew it. It's like anyone who was a fan of the Cyberpunk RPGs knew it was Johnny Silverhand. I, like you, found out it was that because it was said. But I did sort of dig a little bit deeper, and it was like he's a sort of fan favorite in a sort of like a story called "The Fall of Johnny Silverhand," which is about him dying mid-op during something. But they've created license change stuff around. But yeah, back to sort of reviews, and there was a lot of reviews of of the PC version from critics, where they were told by CD Projekt Red, please use our footage when reviewing the games for videos, which is another red flag.
Oh yeah.
Because why stop a reviewer using the game for the review code that you sent them to do the video? And it turns out because it's even after a disputed 8 to 4 year, I should say 4 to 8 year development cycle, it's not complete. In a sense, it's functional. It's certified enough to go gold. Definitely in the PC version, the console version, absolutely not.
See, again, it comes to the whole thing of PC users are used to it.
Mm.
We're used to getting indie games, early access games. What to be honest, anyone who's used to getting early access games, it's like Raft.
Mm.
I got early access, so did Terry. Some other of us got it as well. I just don't know which one of us got it because I know
Mm.
we played it with other people. When we got that, it was early access, and there was so many bugs in that for early access,
Mm.
and for how little the game is, like how little content there is in that game. All it is basically you build a raft, floating materials come along, you pick it up.
Yeah.
No gamer would literally sit there and go, that's pants because of that. They literally just sit there and play through it.
Mm.
You get then if let's say if they came out with this and said that it was early access to everyone on Steam and now, oh bless me,
Bless you.
You would have then most PC gamers would sit there, even though with the bugs that's in it, will sit there and go, that's basically a full game to me.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
we're
and
so
that's
used to having this early access, really bad games.
yeah, and that's the difference, isn't it? That's so the PC market has become acceptable for better or worse. Or
Look,
I'd say less acceptable. It's just more. It's the norm, and
it,
again, still for better or worse, that's the
I think
case.
it's probably better that way because as much as like you can't really change the specs when it comes to playing it on a PlayStation or Xbox.
Yeah, and this
With
probably I was
PC,
about to get to that. So yeah,
yeah,
keep
PC
going.
you can change the specs.
Mm.
So if you're finding your games lagging slightly or having issues loading in, you lower your graphics. You lower most of it. See if it
Yeah,
helps it. If it helps it, you're in the good. If it helps it slightly, you're still in the good.
mm.
If it don't help it at all, you need to almost get a new computer.
Yeah. There's something that needs changing.
Yeah,
And that's where so you bring on to the right point is that you would expect at that point then that a game that comes out on a console works on the console it's out for,
yeah.
and that's the sort of the major problem. And yeah, I can't say, I can only go off what people have experienced. You mentioned you had like some sort of weird like popping bugs for characters where they look like mannequins, and that's even in
Yeah.
the PC version. But now just imagine that on the
Um,
PS4, but they never popped, the textures never popped in.
I have
So
it where the car looks like it's. You know when you see, you've seen the advert where they make the car of cake, right?
yeah.
Now at the beginning of it, you just see like a clay outmold of it,
Hmm.
which they stick the cake parts to it. I've had the cars look like that.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned this as well because even in the PC version, there's this like montage because of a 6 month time skip from the your prologue, which is like your life path
Mm.
that you chose at the beginning of the game. You know, you walk around a bit, you learn very basic mechanics of how to play the game, and then you have a 6 month montage where you and your support character Jackie go around and learn how to be a merc. and he shows you a new car that he buys for you. And I don't know if it happened on. Did it happen on yours? Because I think I explained it, didn't I, off podcast about what happened with mine. It's like this weird, horrendous popping texture because they're rendering the cutscene in engine, which I reckon is. I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about like game dev, but when the thing that I think about was going through the developer commentary for Half-Life 2, when you're speaking to people on, or when you're seeing cutscenes or like conversation between characters on a screen,
Mm.
they're not. It's not a video that they have on there. On another part of the map that you can't access, that's all being done.
Oh, is
And
it?
if you, yeah, and if you no clipped through, you could see like the other part of the map and stuff that was going on
You see,
from
I
there.
didn't have any issue within that sequence.
Yeah,
Not that I
that's
noticed, anyway.
yeah. Like I say, it was just a horrendous popping, but like I reckon that's done like off the main sort of map, there and then. And
Mm.
but to think that that was happening to people on the console versions, and it was just staying like that, and they were having absolute frame rate dives in game, and the fact that it was only slightly remedied on the PS4 Pro as opposed to the PS4, sort of says that there were some problems.
Mm.
Not
Definitely.
helped by by a conference call that happened and an interview between CD Projekt Red and Games Media, with them saying, "Well, yeah, we knew there were problems with the console version. We just didn't focus on it. We just couldn't do it." So hyped up they were and
I think
sort of tunnel
more the
visioned
thing
on that.
is, they built the game not for consoles, and then they've tried dumbing it down a bit for consoles and failed.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is the sort of the argument that's coming out. It's a flimsy argument, but it's an argument nonetheless that it was designed for next gen in mind, which was sort of why the
Oh
sort of
yeah,
delays were happening throughout
yeah,
the year
that's what
because they
I
were
said.
waiting for the
I said
console.
that the other day when who was it? You mentioned something. I think it was Duncan who mentioned something about it.
Mm,
Going, oh, Cyberpunk's getting all these issues, and I just turned around and went, and you'd think they should have fixed it with all these delays. I went, the delays weren't always there. They were
yeah.
planned from the beginning as soon as they knew PlayStation 5 and that was coming out.
Mm.
And
And
what is
and
it, Series X or whatever it's called?
yeah, Xbox Series X and Series S. So the Xbox family and the PS5. Um, yeah, and yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that because then these consoles came out mid-November. Yeah.
Hmm.
So then trying to get the game out for end of November, mid-December, I could understand, but there's all this talk of crunch, and I've got my opinions on crunch. It shouldn't happen, especially on the fact that it was delayed. It was originally supposed to come out in April, was delayed multiple times to December, and the game still wasn't ready at that point. The again argument in all the game sites is that it was clear that it was a management problem. Management wanted, nay, needed the game out before the year end. So when the investor call came around the following year, they could say, "We've made this much."
No, yeah.
And
But
so,
yeah, that's
you know,
probably backfired by this point with all the
oh,
refunds,
oh,
Sony and.
absolutely. Duncan um, didn't link anything in the dev chat, but he did mention it. It's like things are not good for Cyberpunk as news unfolds. Seems the internal struggles were as bad as reported. So do you remember, like, when we were talking about the problems with Anthem, and there was the Kotaku reporter Jason Schreier?
Yes.
Yeah, he's no longer Kotaku reporter Jason Schreier. He's Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier.
Okay.
Did bring up a report about basically a developer or a dev team lash out at management of basically questioning why were they crunching for a game that they knew was not going to be ready by year end, and has now put all the goodwill and reputation of the
Oh yeah,
company
it
in
puts it in.
tatters
Yeah.
because of a, I think, on what was arguably the most hyped game of the decade. It was, a teaser announcement in 2012/13, and it constantly being in people's minds for that long. Maybe that's a problem as well. Maybe I sort of I don't know. Maybe this is just a sort of an opinion, but maybe don't hype a game multiple years away from its intended release. I
But
can understand the
Destiny
idea
did
of letting
that.
people. Yeah, Destiny did it. Sony have already been aware of issues with this before. No Man's Sky did it.
Yes. No
That
Man's
was
Sky put people. See, No Man's Sky didn't come out. It came out doing what it said it would do. But what
well
it
to a point.
mainly, yeah, but what it disappointed everyone with is everyone believed it would have been multiplayer.
Mm,
That was probably the biggest letdown in that whole game.
yeah, mainly due to it was a bit of. I feel that Sean Murray, who was the creative lead at Hello Games for No Man's Sky, was just out of his depth. He had this vision, he had this idea that he wanted to do, and was really excited about it, but was not sort of trained to deal with media pressure in wanting to know stuff. So just let the shit flow out, and just like, oh, is it going to contain this? Yes, absolutely. What about this? Yes. And in his head, he's screaming. He's like, why have I promised that?
You see, you say that, but everyone got this not off the media itself, but from the videos they show.
Well,
They're showing like multiple ships taking off from a planet with it looked like other players.
well, call me a cynic, but I think it's fair to say now, do not trust E3 videos.
Oh, I never trust it. Trying I never watched anything for Cyberpunk. I just knew Keanu Reeves was in it.
Yeah, because you're awesome. Um,
And I have to admit, even if he wasn't in it, because there's such a big hype for the game, I would have probably still got it at some point.
yeah.
Just because he's in it, I probably just got it a little bit earlier.
I was like, personally, I did have reservations of whether I was going to pick it up. It required, like I say, we're trying to keep the issues with the game development and the issues with the company actions separate for the case of this. It's not to say that issues there are to be disregarded. It's just it's not something I could sort of weigh in on properly. That being said, all the arguments entirely justified, just not something I can sort of say further. So, so we got this problem with these console versions, yeah,
Yeah.
and Cyberpunk or CD Projekt Red make another mistake, which is to turn around and say we fucked up. Okay, that's not a mistake in itself, but then them going, we fucked up, go get a refund. Remember, speak to Sony, speak to Microsoft, or speak to your brick and mortar store where you bought the game and ask for a refund. I don't know if it was just sort of ignorance of how a refund system works or if they just wanted to deflect. But don't know about you, but last time you bought a physical game and you opened it up, could you go back in there into that store and say, I want a refund?
Without a good reason, not off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Unless the game's recalled,
Mm-hmm.
which they should be doing.
Yeah. It has happened before. The one that I
It should be recalled, and then from that point, it should be I forgot to say. And basically, you either send it back to the company itself,
mm-hmm.
which would refund you,
Yeah.
or you take it to the store, which the store will technically refund you, but they basically claim it back off the company because they're the ones who are calling it back.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I can know one big example of this, and this was X-Men Destiny back in the days of the old Xbox. Um, so it got so critically panned, even though the game was functionally okay, it just wasn't exciting. But I don't know if it was Warner Brothers or another studio who turned around and said, "No, we don't like this. We're just going to pull the Atari ET game on this." ask everyone to give it back, we'll refund them, and we'll purge it from existence as if it never happened. I mean, I mean, it might be a bit extreme to say that this would be the case with Cyberpunk, but still, I can understand sort of where the refund idea was, except policies for stores, physical stores, are if you crack open the box, it's yours. That's
Yeah.
it. Online on the Sony and Microsoft stores, particularly Sony's in this case, you can purchase the product. The moment you choose to download it, that's it. And the only way you would get a refund like that is if the game was physically broken, if it was unplayable, if and Sony have their certification stuff on there, which, fun fact, certification is just to determine whether a game or a piece of software that a developer uploads to a store can have the potential to brick a console or not.
There
So
was a game at some point that could kill the consoles, wasn't it?
it was Fallout 76.
Ah.
I wrongly said at my work that it was Anthem that could brick consoles. I don't know, they might have done as well, but it was definitely something had come up with Fallout 76. There was an error code that you could get in the game, which would then just sort of brick uh, Xbox Ones, maybe. It might have been the PS4, but so one of those cases. So we've got this refund system that is not fit for the purpose that CD Projekt Red is telling their customers to use. Eventually, Sony and Microsoft have sort of put clauses in their refund policy for this particular case, and Sony have since, according to media, I mean, Sony has said we have stringent guidelines, and therefore Cyberpunk has been removed from the PlayStation Store until further notice. If you ever want to look at anything, there is a game called Life of Black Tiger. Sony has stringent quality control policy on the games that they upload, eh? No. Anyway, but they did that. CD Projekt Red said it was an agreement between Sony and them about removing Cyberpunk off the store until further notice. That's disputed still. But that sort of ends the story of the console version. So,
May I ask?
yes,
Do you
Steph.
know what your save file size is for your Cyberpunk so far?
I do not know because I was about to get into that because that's one of the interesting
That's the thing
PC
I put up
problems.
yesterday in it,
Yes,
where GOG basically announced, keep your inventory low.
yes, keep your inventory low because if you have too many items or you craft too many items above a size,
Onto this, it's over size 8 megabytes
yeah,
in
so
size. If they reach 8 megabytes in size, your
yeah,
game will become corrupted and unrecoverable.
yes, because even though they will like hotfix the game, and to CD Projekt Red's credit, they are hotfixing.
Oh yeah,
It needs more than hotfixing, but they're doing it. I mean, I feel sorry for the developers. They're supposed to
nothing for
be,
today so far though.
yeah, well, they're supposed to be wrapping up for for Christmas, but they're here patching a game that their rabid fan base has demanded and then being unhappy for. And I'll call it out. You cannot defend the state of a game as a fan when you do not have the physical product in your hand. If you're demanding that your baby's concept not to be slagged off, fuck off. This is why I don't do pre-order culture.
So I don't mind the pre-order culture. It depends. I do it if I'm getting discounts on it, like early bird discount type stuff,
Mm,
which Steam tends to normally do. They've not really done it recently. Well, they've not done it for a bit actually.
mm.
I don't mind it with things like that, but so there's odd times I do it as well just to get some added like no content, but visual content type
Yeah,
stuff.
cosmetics.
Yeah, cosmetic. I don't mind doing it every now and then to get some cosmetic stuff,
Yeah.
but not really my. It's like I've done it for a few of the tail games. I think I've got some of the fancy dresses and shit like that you can get for some of the tail games, which
Mm.
is just an outfit for the characters. Does nothing for them apart from they, instead of looking like this maiden, they now look like a
Yeah.
Betty Boo type thing. It's the first character that's popped in my head. I doubt it looked like Betty Boo.
Uh, so so we got all that, and I'll stop doing that. I keep moving the mouse into the preview window, which just lets us all know that this is being recorded on Discord. Hi, how are you doing? Anyway, so and I want to bring on to this idea, and like we haven't suffered the corrupted save state yet, but I'm gonna go and check my save file.
Oh, I'll be checking that in a minute.
Yeah. So what is the? Because this is the thing. I made a tweet about this morning that the game is good. The RPG dialogue is standard. The combat is fun. The
Oh yeah,
soundtrack is awesome.
yeah. I know,
What
folks.
what the problem is this is all great until the immersion gets shattered by stupid bugs. Some are funny, some are
See,
ridiculously stupid.
the only bugs I tend to find a lot of is things not loading in properly,
Mm,
but they then pop into place. The other one I've had a few times is I get out of my vehicle
yeah.
and I appear underneath my vehicle, and if there's something underneath it, I end up stuck there. If not, I drop off the world.
Oh, you get that fun under the skybox.
Yep.
I
And then
had
puts me back to where
mm,
I first got in the car,
yeah.
and my car will be miles away, and the mission would have already been started because I started it while I was before I just got out of the car.
Oh
So it's like,
god.
so I already know this mission. I'm doing this mission. Now I'm about 5k, well, 5 kilometers or whatever distance it is away from it.
Mm.
Because when I some reason got into my vehicle, it's bugged me out and put me underneath. I've got out of my vehicle at one point and ended up on the roof of the vehicle.
I have this sort of weird as a, when so there's the concept in it called breach protocol, like a little mini game where you have to sort of connect little bits of hex code in order to do a thing,
Oh,
either
so
to
you
sort of
mean like the
upload something.
C1,
Yeah, the C155
C155?
E9 business,
Yeah.
and
5 and C1 tends to be the most common stuff I've noticed in that.
yeah. But you do that mini game and you get the thing. But sometimes there's a point where it will complete it and it'll give you the thing that says exit interface, and you click it and your character comes out and you can carry on doing stuff. That happens, I'd probably say a third of the time. Because the other times you'll complete it and your character will just start floating upwards until you step back a bit.
See, I've not had that issue. The other issue I have had, which I noticed happens a lot, and I've seen you have the issue, I don't know if
Mm,
you've noticed it, is the mechanic of stuff like, say, garbage and that spawning in,
yeah.
and certain items spawning in. Sometimes items glitch in each other.
Hmm.
It's like at this point of the game, this item shouldn't either be here or this item has a chance to be here but is here now.
Yeah. I know you
At the
definitely
same
watched
time,
two of them with me, hadn't you? One was like where I was
the
sort of
bin
on
that
it.
came out of the sky.
Yeah, yeah, it just fell through a floor and just I was just minding my own business, about to walk across the road, and this bin just goes. "Oh,
And then when you see litter and that blow up, either
yes,
at a distance or right near you, it'll just blow up because it's just finally rendered in,
mm,
and there'll be something else in that spot now as well, and it just goes poof. I've
yeah,
had it where I've drove along, went to park my vehicle, got out of it, and next thing I know, I've got cops coming after me because I've literally parked my vehicle on top of theirs.
yeah,
But there was
uh,
nothing there. There was no people there when I got out.
yeah." Speaking of stuff like that, it's a bit weird that I've got a mod on my cyberware that allows me to turn all my weapons into non-lethal weapons, which really helps during some quests because
See,
you
I've
get a
not got that
bonus if you
mod.
take someone down non-lethally. It's something. It's one of the optical implants that sort of smart links and turns everything into non-lethal weapons.
See, I've
It's a
not got
pretty
that.
cool one.
I have got a mod which I've not installed yet, which lets me see heat when I do scanning.
Hmm.
I can see things through walls, like one set of walls.
Yeah.
Which I find is really good. Especially when I'm with you on the idea of I try doing as much as I can in that game,
Mm.
stealthy. There's times where I've walked into places, knocked one person out, hid their body, gone around the corner, and the next thing I know, they're shouting, going, "I know you're here!" And it's like, wait, how?
Yeah. How's that work out?
Did you just sense my presence and thought, there's someone here. I know you're here.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got all these non-lethal things, and I pick up a body, and there's nowhere to dump them, so I just like dump them behind a couch somewhere that sort of keeps them out of sight. To then hear the sound of them gibbing because it's not understood where the floor was at the time.
Never mind.
So it's like they were unconscious, like, and I throw them down, and then you just hear, and an
Oh
arm
yeah,
suddenly roll along the floor. I'm like,
I've had it where I've shot someone with my sniper rifle, took the head clear off,
Mm.
and then the next thing I know is I'm just watching this loading window in the corner. I sniped their heads off, and they're just stood there. They're still just stood there, and I can hear them shouting.
Mm.
I had that. No, when you got off yesterday, because you said you were getting off, and I said, "Oh, I'll just complete this mission."
Bloody
It
hell,
was.
what's going on? Just
Oh
give
my
me a
god, here
moment.
we. Well, we'll keep talking. You
yeah,
you keep going.
You just
To
keep doing
me.
what you're doing.
But,
I shot the guy's head off right at the end.
Yeah.
And then walked to it, and he just started shouting. He stood up, still stood up, dead, just shouting. And it's
Yeah.
like, you've got no head. You're dead, because obviously you're not moving. And I've looted your body. But you can continue shouting as much as you want.
Like, he's hurt. He's hurt. He's like, you're dead.
Oh, I'm
Why
having
the
to
shout you on?
reload, and it's like, why'd you have to reload? I've took your gun.
Yeah. But
Look,
man,
it's right in my hands. It was better than my gun.
I will have to give you the one bug that was interesting for me. Because I mean, what we will do on this is we'll keep talking bugs, and then when Darius, it's Darius, by the way, when Darius comes in, he can give his closing thoughts and opening argument in a few-minute window.
If he comes, he's thinking.
If he appears, otherwise he's a set of squares for a bit. So one of the books I had, there's a mission in Afterlife.
I'm
You
going to
speak
get a
to
mask of Darius, so when he just wants to join, I'm just going to put a mask.
it's just like don the Darius opinion mask. Whoop. So here he is.
There
Here he
we go.
is. Hey, in a new
Hello,
in a new
Craig.
recording environment. Oh, hey, he's saying
Yeah.
hello
Hey,
to
Craig,
Craig.
I've not seen you ages. How are you doing?
That's
Now
a lie.
recording.
That's a lie.
Craig. So yeah, this mission. You speak to an NPC by the name of Dennis, and he gives you a transporter style mission. It's like, go to this place, open the package. Once you've got the package, I'll tell you what the instructions are.
Yeah, I've done that. That's in Afterlife.
Yeah. So you go to the package, you open it up, and lo and behold, like the transport films, a guy falls out of a box, and it's like, oh, transport him.
From the freezer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a freezer.
Yeah.
It's a fridge that says no future.
No futures. Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
But
then you're trying to smuggle him.
yeah, so you go through and you do your combat and you put him in the boot of the car that you're meant to transport him to. I put him in the boot, and then I had one of these. I've been playing it for a couple of hours. You get this bit with Cyberpunk where you sort of have to reload or like close down the game and reopen it just to make sure everything's clean and not going
See, I've
all
not
over the
had that
place.
issue.
It seems to. Well, what we've learned from this podcast so far is different bugs for different folks.
Definitely.
But yeah, so I close the game and open it up, and
Well, I don't have
part.
You don't have the issue where I do have to like close and open the game every now and then. However, it's really crashy when I have any overlays on it.
Mm.
See, mine doesn't have that issue. I've not had that issue neither. I've got my overlay over it still for Discord and that. It's normally because I mute myself when I'm playing it. But
Yeah. Get to
Point.
this point. Reload the game, and I hear a thud on the top of my car. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So I get out of my car, and the guy that I'd put in the boot is now spread eagled on the roof and slowly and limply slides off the back, lands on the floor. I can't pick him up because he's supposed to be in the boot. I put him in there. The flag had triggered for him going in the boot. So, you know, that's the thing that happened on there. And then continuing on that, I drive through, deliver the guy, and I wondered why the camera snapped to the fixer when you sort of like do the thing, because then in pops the NPC. He's now stood up, ready to have a conversation with you and explain the situation of why he was smuggled in the first place. I was like, hold on, I left your unconscious body at a beach somewhere. What the? How have you just suddenly appeared here? So you know that's that. So to finish this off, to finish this podcast off, we got Dariusz here, and he's a late joiner. Um, as the CD Projekt Red fan and actual fan, not the fan I was talking about at the beginning or like in the middle of the podcast, you know, that sits there and ravenously argues back with people about a game that they haven't actually played yet. At least I don't believe so. Dariusz is a lot more adjusted than that. Or at least so I've been told. Anyway, so what about if you could sort of give us in like about a 5-minute monologue, if you can, how you feel about this whole cyberpunk thing. As you're a late joiner, we'll be sort of going, like I say, we're talking about the development of the game as opposed to the GOG and all the stuff, the actions of CD Projekt, the overall company. And we're sort of like narrowing it down to the game dev side. How you feel this went?
Well, they are definitely not happy about it.
Ew.
Neither. I would not say fans of CD Projekt Red, but people who believed in the company because of the Witcher 2 and Witcher 3. They gained that kind of trust, and people were looking up to them as that's the studio which should be as an example to everybody else, depending on in terms of development of the games.
Mm.
And right now, everything is shattered, like literally. However, on kind of their defense, they were delaying the game again and again and again. And to delay the game, you need money because for each delay, it costs you a fortune because you have to print new posters, new advertisements, etc.
Mm.
And I believe they start running out of money, and they decided, okay, we have to release it.
Yeah, we sort of brought that up
Which is
earlier
a
about
really, really bad idea because the game is well, it's kind of the game is finished. Don't take me wrong. It's
I
not
think
polished.
the word we said was functional.
Yeah,
Like I
That's
say,
what I
and
put it
on the
as.
PC, we already sort of discussed the console was a problem.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
what as the way I've put it is PC users used to games like this.
Yeah.
Console users see their ass with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that kind of term, the game is definitely playable on PC, especially on the high-end ones. However, if you're owner of PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, you are having a bad time.
Mm.
And I think they made a bad decision about releasing the game on those consoles. What they should do is, okay, release the game on PC right now.
Yeah, the console should have
because
had a release date later on.
and have the and have the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One later on, and
There's a game that
prepare
did
for
that
the
one.
God's sake the proper version for PlayStation 5 and Xbox X.
Yeah. Didn't Destiny or something do like that?
I'm not sure.
There was a game that came out on PC first and took longer to get out on consoles.
Oh,
It may have been Destiny 2 on there because it ended up being a Blizzard exclusive for
I think
X
so.
months. But
Yeah,
that was purely on an exclusive standpoint as opposed to a design standpoint that happened here.
That's from what we've been told.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, on the point, I'm happy with the game as it is. I like the story so far. I like everything, especially later on when you start like actively hacking everything from the distance. That's where the Cyberpunk kind of like kicked in for me.
Yeah.
And because beforehand I spent like roughly 10 hours just shooting everyone everywhere. And later on I just realized what I had to fucking do to start hacking people.
So,
See, it took you 10 hours to figure that out. It took me. I got new implants and went. I have 6 slots for hacks now. I'm done. I can fry people's minds. I can do this.
Exactly.
It's like I'm good.
So yes, the game is fine. For me, the game is fine. Play well. I'm playing it. Bad decisions during the releasing time. Maybe instead of just pushing it back for another month or so, think okay, people will get angry. They might lose more money for. Yeah, let's release it into like May 2021. That would be better idea. Better decision to make.
Yeah, and that's I say. What's happened now is that even if they fix it, there's going to be a goodwill loss that's going to be hard to recover from. And with that, I know it's slightly depressing, but that's where we wrap up this week, I'm afraid. And I mean, thank you, Dariusz, for coming in. It was nice that we got you 2 cents worth before finishing it off. So yeah, this is the last regular Immaterial Gamers podcast of the year. There's something will happen. Yeah, so yeah, we will wish you all a Merry Christmas and potentially a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And if you enjoyed what we talked about, do the usual stuff, the like, share, subscribe stuff, and remember you can always listen to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and maybe I'll see what I can do about getting it on Amazon Music because they do podcasts now and all. So, well, I'll have a look around. So yeah, thank you, Steph. Thank you, Dariusz, and from Ryan and the rest of the Immaterial Gamers. Please enjoy yourself where you can, and we'll see you soon.
Don't forget to wash your hands.
Absolutely. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.